Welcome back. Director Hildegard Titus brings us Namibia's latest film, Rooftog. The story follows Ernest, a young man struggling financially until his cousin arrives with a plan to solve all their problems by robbing high-end salons around Windhoek. Before diving into the details, let's take a quick look at the trailer.
Dit is nou hier. Zou je met die hospitaal rekenen?
Ik was aan die man van die joint mee, bra.
Hij hier is de haren met alle bundles. Kom zeker zo niet bij 5K.
5K?
Whoa. Hey, relax, man, relax.
I don't even recognize you anymore.
Ik zei aan in die lucht.
Playing my song on the radio locally.
Hildegard, good evening and welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to start off with just a little bit of a background on yourself. Perhaps you can tell us, about your career in film, how it started, your love for film, etc.
Yeah, my name's Hildegard, and this was my first time directing a feature film, but I usually do like documentaries and short films, so it was a very exciting venture for me to do a narrative story and write the story and direct it as well.
Fantastic. And how long have you been doing a film?
So I started as a journalist, so I've been doing like video and photography maybe for 10, 15 years, but doing like film in this way, in this capacity, like this is my first
This
one.
is the first time.
Yeah, so
and then you decided to do a film in Afrikaans.
My dear, and like the way I struggled with Afrikaans at school, like I hope my Afrikaans teachers are proud because I was always, and when it came to the mondelings, I was the worst of the worst, so it was a challenge for sure.
What
yeah.
inspired the idea for Die Rooftog?
So I don't know if you remember, like a few years ago, there were always these stories about people robbing luxury salons and
Yes.
stealing the wigs, and I thought it'd be interesting to look into the story because I mean it's kind of comical, but it's also kind of like scary of like how women are being targeted, and I thought it'd be nice to kind of like see what drives people into crime, and that's kind of what inspired the story. That like the economy is tough, people are struggling, and they're finding any way to make ends meet, and wigs is such an expensive thing. People underestimate how much they cost. So I thought let's talk about it and let's look into it that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, doing it in Afrikaans must have been challenging because of what you've just explained. So in terms of choosing the cast, for this feature film, how did, making the film in Afrikaans challenge you with cast, etc., whatever else?
Yeah, so I wrote the whole film in English, and then we worked very closely with the multi-choice team and translating and getting it translated. And then with the auditions, we said everyone has to be able to speak Afrikaans so it could be more authentic. Even when we were doing the auditions and the film, I always had to be like, what are they saying? Even though I wrote it, like I know the gist of it, but it was really challenging, but it was also fun because obviously we also got to do lots of slang and like street Afrikaans as well, so things that aren't traditionally considered Afrikaans as well. So it was very much like, it was a very fun experiment for everyone, and I think everyone really enjoyed it as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I understand that the film is part of the, is it the Omuramba Umbara project?
Umbara project, yes, exactly.
So tell us a bit about your affiliation with that and how that came about.
Yes, so multi-choice partnered with, they decided to make different Namibian films. So there were 6 feature films like mine, and then there was a documentary and then a lifestyle show. And it's basically going to be rolling out on DSTV for the rest of November and December. And then later they're going to be on Showmax. And they were all taken on to be on Cake Net and Key, which is an Afrikaans channel, which is why the film had to be in Afrikaans. But also they're going to be available on Showmax for everyone to watch and get a chance of Namibian stories in a Namibian way.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen in the trailers, it's sort of a comedy genre, which we don't often see, in Namibian cinema. What led you to take that approach?
So like when you were growing up and you'd watch like these like the black comedies like in like Big Mama's House and like like the sitcoms and stuff like that, I wanted to like talk about important issues but in a fun way that was relatable and so people could see themselves in the story, because life can be so serious and crime is a serious issue, but I thought comedy would be a nice way to like delve into like the bigger issues, and I just wanted everyone to have a film to watch with their family and just have a good time and recognize themselves, because I think a lot of times we watch films from other countries and we don't see ourselves, we don't see our stories, we don't see our city, and that's why I really wanted to shoot it in Windhoek and kind of make it like something that everyone can relate to. Yeah.
I see that the film actually played last night on a DSTV channel,
Yes.
but where else are Namibians able to watch it?
So it's on DSTV, and it was on Cakenet and Key, and it was on GoTV as well on Cakenet and Key. And then it's also going to be on DSTV Catch Up and DSTV Stream. And then towards December, it's going to be available on Showmax for everyone to watch it as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, 2025 is right around the corner. Since you've dived into feature film now, and you've gotten a taste of it, and I'm assuming liked it.
Loved it.
What's in the pipeline for you next year in terms of directing?
I definitely love to direct another film, some short films, and hopefully some films in English, so it's easier to do as well. But also, yeah, I'm really interested in Namibian history, so I'd love to delve into stories like that and kind of bring our stories and our heritage to life through film.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and well done. I hope to see, of course, the entire film. I've also just seen the trailers, but it looks quite interesting, the cast. It's nice to see faces that you see around town, you know, on DSTV channels. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was Hildegard Titus, who is the director for a film, a Namibian film, Die Rooftog, that just played last night on DSTV. And of course, as you mentioned, it's going to be playing throughout November and December as well. A multi-choice initiative, which they started last year, as well with the NBC involved, many films that got the opportunity to see the day of light on an international scale. I think just for fun's sake, we need to have another look at that trailer. It was so short. And of course, after we have a look at that, it's also time to say goodbye. So from us here on the Daily Roundup, until tomorrow, same time and place, thank you so much for watching. Good night.
Niet eens nooit hier. Zou je met die hospitaalse rekeningen?
Ik was aan die man van die join me, bra.
Hij heeft hier zijn haren met alle bundles. Kom zeker zo niet bij 5K.
5K!
Wow, hey, relax man, relax.
I don't even recognize you anymore.
Ik zei Anne in die lucht.
Playing my song on the radio